right, good morning. Happy Saturday to everyone. Good morning in America. Good morning in, good evening in the Philippines. Today we will have a guest speaker. Flip with Grace also encourage people to do some, business support. We support entrepreneurs. As a business coach, I started a lot of business. I have a background in business administration, and I just am happy to support small businesses, be it a big or small business. And each story in each business, there is a story behind. So I met our first speaker under business coaching in interviewing entrepreneurs, great entrepreneurs with a great mission. Miss Nancy Moore Morris. I have found her in Facebook again. She's one of these supporter of dementia group, of one of the group that I been invited as a speaker. With this first, I would love to um, thank Global TV for allowing me to share this to international viewers. Thank you to all the followers of Flip with Grace, and also to my friends and family, and now Nancy's followers. So, Miss Nancy, can you introduce yourself to us and what is your goal in life or mission in life? Go ahead.
Well, my name is Moore Morris, and I'm now the CEO of Ganem LLC in Paris, Tennessee, and we are the home of the FOOTBAR Walker. My bio would be that most of my life I was a mom, a grandmom, a homemaker. I have a daughter. I actually have three stepsons. Between us, we have eight grandchildren, and I have three, well, two and one on the way, great grandsons. We love our family very much, but we had wonderful friends that we started this adventure on actually after Gary, my husband, and I retired. So it's kind of like I'm a late bloomer, I guess.
That just tells us that there is no age limit in starting a business, right?
Right. We
if you
started
found, yeah,
17.
if you found the reason to, and you think about what are the things that people needs, can you tell me how did you really started the, like, having
Okay.
this idea from this idea to a CEO now?
Okay. Well, actually, in 2005, my late husband Russell Moore passed away, and I was living in Danville, Kentucky at the time. And when I married Gary in 2010, we, of course, he learned to love my friends. And one of the most important people in our lives, or in my life, had been George and Peggy White of Danville, Kentucky. They were 88 and 86, and just so much fun. They actually were married 71 years before he passed away. But this was back when he first got diagnosed with Lewy body dementia and a sensory tremor, and he was going through a third hip replacement. And we went back to visit my friends, and we could see the toll that it was taking on Peggy, being the caregiver, more than the diseases were bringing George down at that time. And Gary, my husband, had retired from TVA, Tennessee Baptist Authority, and he was always a Mr. McIver kind of guy. He has a very creative mind, and he saw the need, and we talked about it, and he said, I'm going to see if I can't come up with something to help her get him up easier. And so we came back to our home in Paris, Tennessee, and the newly retired guy started on a new project. And he came in one day for lunch and he said, "Well, what do you think?" And I really loved his top bar idea because it was like a portable pull bar. But his initial idea was some legs that were kind of in the way. And I said, "Well, I think they might be trip hazards." And I just looked at it and I said, why don't you put something here between the front two legs that would, of the walker, so that Peggy could put her foot on this and hold it down with her body weight. And he said, well, I never thought about that. Well, that's what he did. He went back, he designed it, and made it retractable, and we took it to them as soon as we could. And she was just blown away at the difference that it made in her ability to take care of George. He no longer had to push down and strain. He would go into his central tremors so bad that when she was trying to help him, he would almost shake out of her arms, or he would shake all the plates on the table, and that kind of stuff. So giving him this portable pull bar gave him something that he could just reach out. Just we jokingly and lovingly say it's like pulling up on the back of a church pew. It is. It's just that easy motion that everybody does, and it was as easy for Peggy as, quote, putting her foot down. She counterheld the top bar and would put her weight on the foot bar, and it just took all the pressure off of her as the caregiver. And not only that, it made it so much easier for George to pull up. And so we thought we were done. We actually thought we've made this product for our friends and we will go on with our life. But Peggy said, no, this has made too much difference in mine and George's life. We're getting other people's attention when we're out in public. People are wanting to know where they could get this product. And so she just kept telling us we must get our product protected with a patent. So we decided to do that. And it took 2.5 years. This all started in about 2013, 2014. And by 2017, we've ended up with 2 patents and a trademark on our product. And we started manufacturing them in our hometown of Paris, Tennessee. And now we're working. I think this is so funny because I have a driveway alarm, and I evidently have people coming and going, but I honestly think it's a crow that's doing this. So if you keep hearing bells, I'm so sorry. This is live, right? But anyway,
Okay. I thought it was me.
I didn't hear you, but that's okay. You broke up. But I think that kind of sums up what our initial inspiration was, and how we, kind of got the thing going. And we've been manufacturing and selling these now for 4 years.
Wow. So yeah, I'm a physical therapist and I'm short. And
Yes.
so when I saw your invention, I wish we have a picture. Do you have any picture there where we could share? I'm trying to share the link, but
Product
is
here.
it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Can you
don't know.
show a little bit of
I'll
it?
do if I can
Yeah.
make it. That's
Oh, okay.
this is about the historical place where I looked at the walker. I'll just stand up. I don't know how this is going to look, but
In the big screen.
can you see the walker?
Let me put you in a bigger screen.
I was hoping you might use a demonstration. There's a lot of information on our website that I think you find very helpful. But this is the top part. And you rotate the foot bar down.
I can see you. Yeah, that's great.
Can you see it? And so this is the caregiver stance. You're just standing, holding this steady, and your weight. And we learned through the University of Tennessee that we tapped into physics. This is why it works so well. The counter pull of the patient is more than compensated by the person's weight. So this is from the caregiver's side. And then from the patient side, they're looking at it like this. And instead of all this pushing and doing this, which takes a lot of effort, the patient just literally, and I could do it without it, just like that. It makes it so easy to wake up. How can you get up easier? But of course, the caregiver makes it more substantial. But that is the general. That's the way it works. And boy, does it work. We have people that have had some of the stories. Some of our testimonials are very touching. Gary retired from TVA, and he had a friend that called us one day and said, I'm very sick, and I wish you would bring one of these to our home. And we did. And when we got there, sadly, we found out the situation was, and he thought at that time that he might, and later he was diagnosed with ALS. And his wife was more petite, and she had bone marrow cancer. And she was his caregiver. And so when we gave this to them and he tried this, it was such an emotional thing for him because he said, you just don't know how guilty I have felt having to use her as my caregiver, but we had no choice. And it revolutionized her ability to take care of him without straining herself. And he, again, could get up. And then I have stories like a young lady that was in her 40s. She had a disease that was called transverse myelitis. And I thought it was very spunky of her because she said, I would take this FOOTBAR walker with me everywhere I go. And whether I have a caregiver or not, if I'm in a restaurant, I'll just say, hey, come over here and put your foot on this and hold this for me so I can stand up. And that's two. I have many more, but do you want me to continue?
Yes, please. I'm still here.
Did you lose me?
We just have a few minutes that we had a Wi-Fi issue, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know
Continue.
what you did.
Yes, we just have a Wi-Fi issue a while ago, but yes, that is great. I've seen the reason why we talk about this one is, it's really good for safety of the therapist as well as the patient. How can you how did you found the like how did you start putting it in a business, or can you tell me about the details or the history from that idea going to that specific
Well,
idea, and then you know
okay. Because of the encouragement of our friends that we designed the first one for, of course you have to protect your intellectual property, as they say, and that required attorneys that we got, and we had engineering patent attorneys, and they made sure that our patents were very good, very well written and secure. And I think that's the one thing that we did before we made anything in a production way, because had we not gotten the patent, we weren't at our age, we weren't going to pursue it. But it's a kind of we like to say it's like making a better mousetrap. So many physical therapists, have been trained that their patients have to. Well, they can't pull on the walker, but they teach people to pull on pull bars. So with that in mind, we have created a portable pull bar. And as far as the business, it's just a day-to-day learning process for us. There's lots of things like FDA fees that have to be paid, and liability insurance, and there's a lot to it. But Gary and I felt like that this was an amazing thing, that two retired people thought of something that we have been told over and over. You changed our life. You you gave us our life back, and and we just feel like that's just an absolute priceless thing to have someone feel about your product, and that's what keeps us going.
Yes, watching us from Philippines is my sister Dari. How are you? How are you? Good evening there. And we have Miss Risa Carlton. You're one of your biggest supporter and fans. She said, "You look amazing." We also have Butch Beckett from West Virginia. Yes, and we have from Philippines. I have a good friend here, Alan Taganan. He is a physical therapist from the Philippines. He's also connected to a Filipino community organization that's helping a lot of patients there. So, Miss Nancy, you are globally live, and they said you're doing great.
Well,
And yeah, you just learned how to do the StreamYard. I'm so proud of you. So, how can we avail, or do you have a site?
yeah,
I know you have a site. You send it to me. I'm trying to put it in the screen if I can, but go ahead and share that to
okay.
us.
Our website is thefootbarwalker.com. That's TheFootbarWalker.com. And on our website, you can see Peggy and George and our inspiration. You can see the details of how the product works, and also testimonials and and ordering information. So there it is. I wish it was where you could play that one with Peggy. She is such a sweetheart. George passed away after 4 years of using our product, and Peggy is still going strong at 92, and still our biggest cheerleader. She knows. She said it saved her and George $192,000 because she was going to the nursing home, and him too, if we hadn't have gotten this little product made for them.
You were able to play it, Miss Nancy?
It has absolutely revolutionized my care of George. There isn't a way in the world I could have kept him here at home with me all these years had it not been for this FOOTBAR walker. It has absolutely saved my back. It seems like it's just the easiest thing to work. And I would love to show more people how it works, because it's just absolutely the most amazing invention that I've ever had. And it isn't just for the patient now, like I said, it's for the caregiver just as much. And I don't hurt my back, I don't hurt him under his arms. It's just absolutely the most fabulous thing I've ever run across.
That is amazing. We're able to play that one. Yes. All right. Let me put you back on the screen.
And you'll have to go next one because you'll have to read it out.
Let's hit this one. All right. So do you still have, is this still yours? Oh, that.
Yeah, that's our 30-second ad there. But I'd like to tell you about our awards, if I might.
Sure.
We were chosen the Product Friendly Award by today's Caregiver magazine. Editor Gary Barge out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we won the 2020. Won it right in the middle of the COVID. And we've also been endorsed by Lori LeBay of Minnesota, who is a well-known nationally known advocate for Alzheimer's. She's been recognized by Oprah and Maria Shriver and Dr. Oz for her work, and we feel so honored that we were able to be on her podcast back in August, and she too is a world global podcaster and just a dear friend. She really sees what Gary and I are up against, and she's trying her best to help us. And in 2019, we were chosen as the Safe Patient Handling Mobility Technology Innovation of 2019. So we feel very people, and that's going on all over the world internationally. We were chosen, that little picture, we were chosen by the University of Tennessee Small Business Development Center as a future star entrepreneur in Tennessee. That's not bad for a little company that was started by Nana and Grandpa Gary.
Oh, yes, I'm so proud of you. That is amazing and so inspirational to other, people. If you could do it on your retirement age, I call it retirement age, the golden age, and you're able to do this amazing invention, the FOOTBAR walker assist the patient, that
Well,
assist patients and caregivers, that would be something that's very inspirational to those people that's have something in their mind and um, be able to really do it and do some actions. Will you share also your
one thing, uh, Gary and I are Christian, and we absolutely feel like God has given us the health, the mind, and the determination to do this. We feel that God has put every person in our path for a special reason. We feel like it's just about the time we say, well, let's just give up. COVID has completely stopped us in our tracks. Well, COVID is hopefully going to end. And with people like yourself and like Lori LeBay and Riza and, just people that I would have never, ever, ever in my imagination that my path would have crossed with people like you. And to know that of all people, I wasn't even a nurse. I was a grandmother. I was a caregiver to my older relatives. I had actually three people, my mother and her two sisters at one point in my life, where I was the caregiver and responsible party. When they went to nursing homes, I still had to, take care of that. So I've always had a love and a passion for caregiving because I've been one. And Gary had a love and a passion for caregivers because he was an EMT and a fireman before he went to work at the job that he ended up retiring from. So we look back at our life and we know every little piece was something that God was preparing us. God was putting this thought and this heart. And we just feel like honestly, this is why everything has happened in our lives to bring us to this point. We give God, we keep praying that God's going to open the doors and blow this thing wide open. We want to help everybody that can be helped, and we see it as a new tool. It's a better walker.
yes, I think there's a purpose for us, you and Risa get together and just with this flip, I tell you about this story of this flip show. I just started this one about a month ago and have been wanting to do it, but I'm so shy with life. But then we have a mission to accomplish, and I have a lot of things in my mind, and it's hard to talk one at a time. So I decided just to do it, and then God is actually giving me people to talk to. Like I found you, I don't even know you, right? So, but then you have the biggest invention and that people needs, that therapists needs. That I myself, I'm a short therapist. I work in a nursing home, and I tell you, it scares me if every time I get up a 6 footer or more, 6'9", 6'10", I am so scared. So I have to ask somebody like our PT techs or PTA or even occupational therapist that if we get up a patient, be in a skilled or a nursing home, I have to ask somebody's help,
Right.
And I found it hard for using the regular walker to be able to help actually when they stand up, they'll pull it from the walker and there's no way I could stabilize it except for, using my foot or other hand. And it's hard to get up a patient when you're short. And it actually have hurt a lot of therapists' back, neck, and arms. And so your invention is amazingly gonna help our therapists, not only the patients but also the therapists as well. So, do you have some advice? Or yeah, go
I
ahead.
like one thing, if I might. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this. There's an opportunity to enlighten you about these things. Um, if a patient is actually too big for you to handle alone, you would have an assistant anyway. And we also have designed into this walker where a patient could sit. The caregiver could be two caregivers could use the foot bar and put the right hand, the right foot on one side, the left hand, the left foot on the other. It would give each of you a free hand to be able to reach out and assist the patient, even if they had a gait belt or something on. But at the same time, you're keeping your body straight. You're keeping your neck and your shoulders protected. And so it's not like you would be lifting up underneath that person or pulling on them. It our product works to even help people that have diminished some of their strength already. And you can use it to exercise them, even if they can't get all the way up the first time. We had a nursing home in a nearby town in McKenzie, Tennessee, and they had a patient in their nursing home that was already that it required a lift to get them in and out of get this man in and out of the bed. The physical therapist started using the FOOTBAR walker in physical therapy and started exercising this man, and he eventually got to where he could get in and out of bed again and walk with the walker. And so that was a major step, especially for somebody that's already in the nursing home and, basically declining. I had another customer that was in South Carolina, and she said her husband was in the nursing home and he was basically just giving up on life. He said, she told me, she said, he's just sick and tired of people pulling on him. And she ordered the walker and she took it to him for his use in his room with him. And she said, I got there at 7:30. He had already gone to bed. He did not want his supper. I mean, that's indications right there. The man was giving up. And she said, I got him up and told him, look what I've bought for you. And she said he got his old stiff body turned around and stood up and smiled at me. Now that's the last I've heard from them. But the fact was she was determined she was going to do what she could to give her husband back that reason to keep trying. And that's part of the downfall, I think, of a lot of caregiving is people don't like to be pulled on any more than you like to pull on them.
So, what can you advise for people that has this idea, and then they just could start? What can you advise them? Like
Talk
for,
about
for
people that come up with ideas for
yeah,
help.
they already have the
What,
idea, but what
well,
is lost?
for one thing, I mean, all joking aside, it's not a cheap project to take care of. Um, there are FDA fees to pay. There's liability insurance. There's patents that have to be gotten. And after you get the patents, you have to do the renewals on them. So it's it I just happened to be in the stage of life and was blessed enough, and we just decided that this was a project worth investing in. If we never help any more people than the few that we have helped in the scheme of the whole world, it's worth it to us. Because if we save George and Peggy $192,000, you multiply that by the other people that we have helped, and so that is my advice is think long and hard before you do it. But if you're passionate about it and you see that it's something that so desperately needs to be out in the public, go for it. But it's not cheap. But I can't take walkers or money with me when I've passed. So I'm just trying to see this as an opportunity to make the world a better place, and I think we're doing it.
Yes, you are, Miss Nancy. You're encouraging a lot of um, people that has a idea, a great idea. and scared. But if you could do it, we could do it too.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah. Can you also mention again where we could avail and what country can we get it? Is it available in other countries?
Well, we have it available to the 48 contiguous states at this time, free shipping on our website, which is thefootbarwalker.com. But at I can ship it to other countries. I mean, I have shipped to Canada, but it cost a little bit extra. But the people didn't seem to mind, spending the extra. It is an excellent companion to people that are in um, wheelchairs, portable wheelchairs. A lot of times they just need that extra tool to throw in the trunk of the car or back seat or whatever, to have something so that they can get in and out of their wheelchairs and maneuver. Um, but I guess that answers the question. We will ship anywhere. It's just going to cost a little extra shipping. And it might not be a little. I just have to investigate and find out if the purchaser feels it's worth it.
I love how you talk.
Let's see.
I, when you're talking, it's like, oh.
Well, I used to be a teller at a bank, and in California when my late husband was in the Navy, and it was so funny that people would actually stand in my line to hear my accent, and I was, well, this is just me, you know. Uh, I think everybody around me talks pretty much like this. Although one lady from Chicago told me one time, she said, "You have a very melodious Southern accent." And I said, "Well, is that just a nice way to say I'm hicky?" But I'm a Southern belle, I guess.
I call myself Hillbilly, Filipino hillbilly. Anyway, with us is my sister who's a nurse in the Philippines, Viv's Consolation, and I also have a friend of mine, dear friend, is Miss. Her name is Catherine Bayston. So we share this live with a group of therapists, and so you guys, if you own a physical therapy and you're looking for a good, stable, and affordable walker, this is walker is gonna help a lot of our patients and our back too, avoiding straining our back. So to close this talk, I know we've been talking for 30 minutes. I'd like you to share who is Nancy Moore, like what is your goal, what is your mission in a short paragraph or
Well, I guess my goal would be to make the world a better place than I found it. You were talking about your friends that are physical therapists. I want them to know that there's a company out there that loves patients. Oh, the ones that we want to help. But if we do not help ladies and gentlemen that are caregivers, we get new patients. And we don't need more patients. We need protected caregivers. And I wish my product was cheaper than it is, but you've got to remember, we are doing this on a small scale compared to, the large companies. But what price do you put on your back, your shoulders, your neck, your health, if it destroys all the years of education and effort that you put into becoming a physical therapist or a nurse? Or if you're at home trying to take care of your loved one and you want to continue to keep them at home, that's when our little footbar walker shines. And we've been told, to the people that have it, it's priceless. How about
wow.
that?
You're not only protecting the patients, you're protecting the caregivers, physical therapists, nurses, CNA. Usually, CNA is the one really in with the patient all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We salute CNA there. Families, you're protecting our backs. Occupational therapist. Speaking of occupational therapists, with us is Marjorie Hampton, She's a occupational therapist. And I'd like to welcome Miss Leslie and Leah for watching. Thanks for watching. And this will be watch replay on a global TV network for about 10,000 viewers or over the world. And we will put it in YouTube, and this will be available in flipyourswitchwithgrace.com. And so tonight, I'd like to also I would like to invite you to Miss Nancy. We're launching our autism group. So this is actually my first lab, autism. But I'm also a business coach, and I'd love to help people as to doing with the business side. And the product like yours is really amazing that people needs to know about. So thank you so much, Miss Nancy. Uh,
Thank
yes, we will have another live this evening. I'd like to invite everyone we will have a good speaker, a great speaker. This is going to be the voice of kids with autism, and that's we're going to be 7 o'clock in the evening live on these groups. And also, we'll be launching our website there. We also have 9 o'clock. I'm busy, Miss Nancy. You can see. I'm like you.
you are.
So 9 o'clock will be our opportunity to uh, promote as well. We have also a business called Nutrigenomics. Our products is slowing down aging process. So your product, our product, are all connected. So this is also slowing the aging process, and also slowing preventive side and more of holistic treatment, or not treatment, but aid or holistic ways to help people get better. So, Miss Nancy, and last question, can you any message to our viewers? Last message from you?
Well, I would encourage you, if you're in caregiving and business, just please check our website out, and hopefully one day that we will be able to take this over the world. I really do. I believe in my heart that we're going to be able to expand this. As you can tell, we're having a little bit of a storm here, and my lights are starting to flicker. So maybe that's a good sign to say thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your precious time. Thank you for sharing your
You're
big achievement in life. That is this product. If this is going to help and touch a lot of therapists, help a lot of patients, caregivers.
okay.
So we are all in this together, helping people get educations, and just sharing what we have and make this place a better place. Thank you so much, Miss Nancy. Talk to you later.
Bye
Love you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.